We give you love and respect. Merlu, Mer Ishaisha. We give you peace. We give you peace. Dinu Hetep. Peace and blessings, yes. And with that now, can you pour? Let's over here, right there. Right there. Can you pour it all into there? We're blessing our ancestors and saying thank you. Everyone say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You did a wonderful job. You're welcome. We want to give her a hand. And thank you to thank you very much. All right. Makes a difference in things and how you relate things to children of color. I have devoted my career, which means storyteller or keeper of the culture, in the Kemetic language. The Wukemu Black and Brown Storytellers is an organization that I started for poets, storytellers, documentarians, for writers, for lecturers, for historians, for all who are who have a vested interest in preserving and telling our stories with our voices. But this is why it's also important to make sure that we have a very clear cultural consciousness when we are teaching our children. Even though I had my children in public school, I saw, before I even put them in public school, listen, I taught both of my children, who are now 38 and 59, to read when they were 3. When they got to public school, they were the only ones in their classes who knew completely how to read while the children were other children learned the alphabet. And it was a school in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, which is on the map considered to be the armpit of New Jersey. It was called that for other reasons too. When I moved there, I did not know that the Klan presence was so strong like that. I did not know that after we signed the lease on our beautiful home, we drove around our new town, that we would find rebel flags hanging proudly in New Jersey. Yes. I did not know that my children were going to be one of 2 black children in their classes. And it was okay. Why? Because at first it pushed me further into my consciousness and made me that much more aware of the need to program my children in a way that was consistent with my practice as a cultural educator. And so, even though they went through the whole thing of being called the N-word and so forth, as time passed, my older daughter ended up becoming the very first African-American president of the student council. By the time she got to middle school, and the same children who called her the N-word in kindergarten also turned around and voted her president when they got to be in high school. And it was known by the teachers that when it came Dr. King's birthday, that my children would not be attending school that day. And especially because back then, in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, where the Klan was, they were not trying to hear about Dr. King's birthday being taken off. It was not a national holiday then. But they knew ahead of time, I would give them a note, my children will not be in school on such and such day. And it was a day of programming for my children. Not too different than any other day. But I made sure that all day dealt with messages, not only in terms of the biography of Dr. King, but about the movement and their obligation to helping our people move forward and to fight for what we need as a people. I have found in working with homeschoolers of color over the years, because I've gotten hired to come in and do workshops, because, you know, if you're homeschooling, then your children don't have a lot of the same experiences that you do when you're in school. For instance, there was a group that hired me to come in and do a mini musical with their children. And the children did not understand what it meant to stand in line. Because in school, what do you do all day? If you're not sitting at a desk, you're heading somewhere, and where are you? In a line, okay? And so I had to show them, you know, both vertically and horizontally, what that meant. So there are little things like that missing, and then also, I'm not saying that it's like a necessary thing, but I'm just saying that it's amazing the things that you become exposed to once you're dealing with children who are not conditioned to the culture of being in a classroom, okay? That's okay, all right? But the thing that I want to share with you, many things, is one of the challenges that I've seen for many homeschoolers of color has been the discipline of making sure that children not only have their classes every day that they're supposed to have, and it's not just, well, what do you feel like doing today? There are some things that are needed, okay? But in addition to that, understanding that the cultural component is vital. It is absolutely vital. So that when you are teaching math, you are teaching that math came out of ancient Africa, all right? From the Nile Valley traditions, from the Hapi traditions, as we call them. And the science and the sciences that came out of ancient Kemet. And to know that Kemet was a culmination of the cultures of the Hapi or Nile Valley citizens. So, how many of you teach from that perspective? How many of you find that you're still in the process of learning? And that's okay. Actually, it's a beautiful thing because it forces you to get deeper into your cultural consciousness and your history. It's important in this age also of, you know what, if we can we place our ancestral plans? Thank you. It's important to remember also, in this internet age, and I'll tell you, it is such a blessing to teach and to learn with everything that is available from the internet. However, there's also a curse, because just because it's on the internet does not mean it is so. There's a lot of garbage that's on the internet. A lot of intentionally placed misinformation. And then there are those who make videos who kind of know. You've probably met folks who remembers when you first came into your so-called consciousness? And I think we need to find another word because the conscious community has really, really gotten lambasted because of the fact that a lot of us ain't right. Well, I'm not counting myself in there, but I'm just saying there are a lot of folks who just ain't right. And will give us a bad name. But how many of you remember when you first came into your African awareness, what it was like? You want to just go tell everybody, right? We're kind of like doing African proselytizing, trying to shove everything down everybody's throat, right? And it's okay, there's an excitement along with that. But some people get stuck there. They get a little bit of information, and they work it and work it and work it and work it. Some move into African spiritual traditions and become initiated. You plump down your money, boom, you're a priest or priestess. And get stuck there. Whether you have a title or not, and especially if you have children, it's important not to get stuck there. Because we have such a vast and rich cultural history. Look at all of us. African culture, as it is expressed in this country today, represents the fine, diverse traditions that we all have come from. It is said that those of us who are practicing here in what we know to be Amenta, the glorious West, that we are the keepers of the culture. Do you know there are a lot of brothers and sisters in the motherland who are watching very closely what we're doing here because many of them are where we as a people were about 60 years ago in consciousness, because they're trying to grab onto that Western thing, okay? And stepping away from the traditions that they grew up in order to be more westernized, more acceptable, more successful on the global stage. We are the keepers of the culture with our various gele, headband, our various Adinkra symbols, markings, all of it. But that also means that there is a lot to learn. A lot. So let us never, ever rest on our laurels. I study every single day. And especially as a Sebaïd, our teacher in the Kemetic tradition, I study every day. Let me share something else with you quickly. And then I want to do a little breathing, a little breath work. Because I also teach Kemetic yoga. In our tradition, we call it Shenu. Shenu means the full circle. And it also means that we honor these cycles of life. Right now, we are in what the world, from a tropical astrological standpoint, looks at as the cycle of Leo. We honor the sidereal cycles, which are actually, they've been proven to be more correct in many ways. So that would be the cycle of Cancer, which would be Capri, which is the cycle of transformation. The heat. We honor all of these aspects and honoring nature and honoring all the energies that are within us as we practice Shen yoga, or Ika, or Yoga, or Yoke, as I found it to be. I've done a lot of research in my program, not bragging, but the program that I present is the most comprehensive that is out here because it matches the poses to the actual names. It matches prayers to the poses. And we're taught about the invocations that go along with them as our ancestors practiced. Okay? For those who have issues with children who might have problems sitting still, or maybe you might find, because of the society that we live in, that you might, it's really wonderful to learn about African-centered meditation, connect correctly with the energies of the divine. Okay? I started doing yoga when I was 12. And back then on public TV, there was a program that was called Lily's Yoga and Me. And there was a woman who was doing yoga on TV after school. And I found it to be a really wonderful way of being able to regulate myself after the stress of going to school. School was very stressful. I am of the generation where we were the experiment. The experimental children of integration. It was really stressful. I really did not want to hear. And the extra pressure just to disprove them. But then you proved them wrong. It was ultra stressful. So yoga after school was a good thing for me. When I do my drumming classes and other cultural classes, I always incorporate in some way so that children learn how to self-regulate. For instance, can you all hear me without this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right now.
Stretch your fingers. Stretch, 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 stretch. And let it go. Shake it out. Before I teach my drumming class. Okay, make a fist. Tight as you can. Tight, 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 tight. And let it go. Shake it out. And now, starting with the left hand, you're going to take your forefinger and your thumb. This is simple reflexology. You're going to start massaging at the wrist, very gently at the wrist, then applying more pressure as you work your way up through the fleshy part of your hand, all the way through to the tip of your pinky. Same thing now, working through to the ring finger. I work with children, so I call this the center. Sometimes somebody will catch on. Queen Mother, why don't you call it the middle finger? It's the middle finger. And somebody will say, shh. Then, okay, forefinger and the thumb. And now, here's a little tip. Just to keep yourself more well protected against between the forefinger and the thumb. This is especially good to do during flu season. Stretch. Stretch, 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 and let it go. Shake it out. Okay, the other hand. Working your way through to the pinky, all the way to the tip. Ring finger. Center. Index. And thumb. And let's boost the immune system. You're gonna pinch that right there. Don't squeeze it too hard. Be gentle to yourself, okay? Apply just enough pressure where it's comfortable. And stretch it out, stretch, 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 and let it go, shake it out. Rubbing the hands, washing the hands, interlace your fingers and stretch so you feel it through the shoulder. And let it go, shake it out. And now, dancing hands. And relax. You can do that if you have trouble sleeping. It will relax you, all right? Yes.
How does this help boost the immune system in the right now?
Okay, so here's homework for you, because wherever I go, no matter where I speak, I always give homework. Because I believe it's important to not just believe what I say because I said so.
Right.
I want you to go and find for yourself. Here's your homework. Reflex charts are all over the internet, okay? Compare a bunch of them because, you know, again, there's some variances sometimes, but generally they're right. The reason reflexology works, and this actually is like you start with the hands, you go to the face, and then the feet, or you can just do your feet, or just your hands. It's because there are nerve endings that are connected to every vital organ inside of your body. As you do reflexology, it's like you're giving a massage to your organs so that you can keep them regulated. Okay? Just like if you have a headache, then you want to grab the tops of your toes and massage them. Or even you can just work with the tips of your fingers. Okay? So reflexology for the feet and the face. And there will be charts to show you exactly organs are connected. Okay? I mean, very simply, the inner represents the spine. Array. These are 14 major energies. Array. When you say Ra, that's not correct. If you read the language, then you will learn that it is a long A sound. It's like in Ma'it, it's not Ma'at, it's Ma'it. The long A sound makes a difference. We're educating yourself makes a big difference. And being able to pass it on correctly to your children. The long A sound, which is represented by the forearm. And why is it important? Because this represents the measure of a man's character. From a metaphysical standpoint, the long A represents quicker manifestation. If you are in alignment with the harmonic forces, and if you are living in a place of divine order, so that what you send out comes back to you harmony very quickly. Okay? So when you intone the long A sound, that is like ringing a bell in the universe to be able to manifest what you are looking for. The life force energy that we walk around with, Re, depicted as the sun. Our ancestors did not worship the sun. They used the sun as a symbol for the life force we walk around with, okay? When you're at a low ebb, when you're not feeling well, you can feel an ebbing of your life force, yes? When you're feeling in optimal health, you feel it, right? Okay, so we're going to revitalize our life force right now, and this is really excellent to teach your children and to do with your children, even as a morning exercise, or even at noon. When the sun is high, it has been traditional for our people to do prayer throughout the day, to do connection, to do affirmations to nature, because that is who we are. And so I'm going to take you through the 14. Should I put my chair in the center or am I in here? Excuse me?
Okay, right over here. Yeah.
That's very true. Did I not see you? I can see them. Everybody can see me?
Yes.
It's good if you can, because I used to just get up and just But it's good if you can wash your face first, brush your teeth, wash your hands, all right? And sit comfortably. The edge of your chair. You want to make sure you have a chair where the arms are not in the way. And I forgot to bring my whiteboard. Does anybody have a whiteboard? I actually have an oracle deck with the 14 Kau of Re, all of the symbols. But also, if you look up 14 Kau, K-A-U, of Re, R-A, or R-E, K-A-U. That is plural for spirits. Ka is spirit in the Kemetic language. Some say it's soul. I find spirit is more correct. The U at the end, wu, makes it plural. It is actually mechvedu, which is 14. 14 Kau of Re. Okay? Okay. I'm trying to save myself some space here. So here's one. First one is called Heka. And Heka represents antiquity and speaking things into existence. The mysticism that comes with intonation. Okay? Sound, vibration. And here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna briefly okay. So place our hands comfortably on our thighs. And so we'll count to 3, and on the third exhalation, then we will chant the word you. Because you, I want you to think of a goal right now. Something you want to achieve. Either in the now, in the next 2 weeks, the next month, the next year. Something that is vitally important that you want to be able to manifest. All right? So that's what's going to happen with the first one. Okay, you can open your eyes. We're going to run through all together. Okay, the second one. Which is a symbol of the life force energy, with light, divine light coming out of it. This is a connection with ancestors, the divine ancient source. For that one, we'll just be doing 7 breaths today. Usually we do 13. I don't want to fall out. 3. Naket. So we will be protecting the divine light that we pull in from ancestral source. Okay? And that's taking your 6. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show you the symbols later. I'm gonna just take us through it. Okay? Okay. Does everyone have your goal in mind? Whether it is something material, whether it's relationship-wise, whether it is spiritually. Scratch. Whatever it is you feel feel that is most vital for you right now. All right? The word for inhale is sadek. Everyone say sadek.
Sadek.
Exhale is nifa.
Nifa.
Okay? All right. All right, sit up straight, nice straight back. All right. So we're going to inhale and exhale 3 times. On the third exhale, we will chant the word. We'll hold it out as long as you can. Don't worry if you can't sing. It's not about singing. This is just about the intention. All right? Focus on your goal. So that. Inhale through the nose, nifa. Exhale through the mouth. So that. Nifa. So that. Now I'm going to raise. Now with this, on the so that the fingers are spread as intense as you can. And then on the exhale, then we tighten the hands into a fist, but we also tighten the lungs, okay? So we're with the diaphragm rather, and we're tightening the sphincter. Is there anybody who doesn't know what the sphincter is? Is that no? Everybody knows? Okay. Oh, okay, so it's that muscle. Oh. Okay. So yeah. Nifa. So yeah. Nifa. So that. Nifa. So that. Nifa. So that. Nifa. Last time. So that. Nifa. Relax your breathing. Take out your hands. Now make 2 fists. Bring your right forearm to the front at about underneath your chest, okay? And the other goes to the back.